Hello everyone, in today's session we learn about how to deploy our Angular project along with the Flask API on AWS. Even if you do not know Flask, the code which I am going to write is going to be pretty simple. We are just going to create an API which returns a string and then show it on the console. So that is what we are going to do. So let's start. First of all, log in to your AWS account. I'm assuming that you have already signed up on AWS and have completed the sign up procedure. After you do that, choose the region as Mumbai. Probably by default, your US East OYO region will be selected, but choose Asia Pacific Mumbai AP South 1 so that your server is as close to your home as possible so that you are able to connect to the server very fast. So once you choose this region, go to services and choose EC2. We are going to start an EC2 instance and then connect to it and deploy our server on that. So go to instances. For you, if you create a new account, your instances would be empty. I have a running instance over here, but I'll show you how to create or launch an instance as well. So click on launch instances. Choose the free tier eligible uh, Ubuntu Server 20.04 LTS. So select this. Inside your type, choose T2 Micro. There are many types of Amazon machine images, but T2 Micro is the only free tier eligible. In each type, you get a number of CPU cores, RAM, and types of internal storage. So depending upon the type you choose, you will be charged accordingly. So choose the T2 Micro type for our free tier eligible. Yeah. So next, go to the configure instance details. Just let it be as it is. This is used to set up your virtual private clusters, which we are not going to do right now. Next, add the storage. You can set 30 GB storage for free in the free tier. So choose 30. Next, go to add tags. You can ignore the tags for now. And next we come to configure security group. This is going to be important, so please pay attention. First of all, there is the type SSH. So we are going to use the SSH port protocol, which connects to the port 22, and we are going to use this to be able to connect to the remote server from our own local computer. Now, we do not want anyone to be able to connect to our server. We just want us to connect to the server. So over here you can see 0000/0. It means that anyone in the world will be able to connect to your computer by using the SSH uh, protocol. We do not want to do that. So instead of custom, set my IP. If you set my IP, you can see a /32. So before each dot, there are 8 bits. As you can see, there are 8 bits. That is why there is the total IP address takes 32 bits. When we set a /32, it means that all the 32 bits of this IP address will be matched and checked while connecting to SSH. If there is a 32-bit match, then AWS will allow you to connect. Otherwise, it won't allow you to connect. Now, if you are inside an ISP, which is the internet service provider, they keep on changing your IP address after a certain period of time. This can be irritating because then you'll have to keep on changing your security configuration so that you are able to connect to your server. So instead of setting a /32, you can set a /16. This will mean that only the first 16 bits of your IP address will be matched, and the rest 16 bits, if it can be anything. So this creates a subset of IP addresses which can connect to your server, and that's fine because at least the probability of a hacker being there on your own ISP is quite small. So instead of choosing /32, copy this IP address, go to custom, paste your IP address and change 32 to 16. Now that this is done, we are also going to add the rule of HTTP. So we are going to create a web server, and for that we need the HTTP protocol which runs on port 80, and anyone in the world should be able to access it because your website should be accessible to anyone in the world. So on the port 80 we have created an HTTP type um, security configuration and set it so that anyone in the world can access it, and that's it. Once you have set this security type, just click on review and launch. You can check whatever values you choose. You choose instance type T2 micro. We have this in our security configuration. So check it once and then you can launch. When you're trying to launch, you'll get this pop-up box in which you have to create a new key pair. So we choose create a new key pair. We name the key pair as Angular demo and we click download key pair. When you do, you will download a .pm file. Let's see it. Keep this PM file safe because once downloaded, you cannot re-download it and you will never be able to find it on the Amazon's website. So I'm going to create a key folder and I'm going to put the PM file over here. So once you download the key pair, just click on launch instance. It might take a bit of time to launch the instance, and once you do it, you can again go to the EC2 dashboard, click on instances. So you can see instances running, click on it. And over here, if you hide the running tab, you can see that a new instance has been spun up. So it is being initialized right now. And to connect to the server, if you are using Ubuntu, just click on connect, go to SSH client, and then you will be able to see the instructions to connect to your server if you are using Ubuntu. But as we are using Windows, let's see how to connect from Windows to the remote terminal. For that, we'll be using PuTTY. So you can go to PuTTY, go to the website, click on download PuTTY here, and choose the 64-bit Windows version, MSI version. Once you download PuTTY, two softwares will be installed. One is the standard PuTTY, and another is PuTTY Keygen. So I have opened both the softwares, PuTTY Key Generator. We'll use the PuTTY Key Generator to convert our PEM file to PPK file. PuTTY does not understand the PEM file which we have downloaded from AWS. To convert it into PPK, we need this PuTTY Key Generator. So we click on load. We go to our keys file, choose view all files, click on the PM file and click open. So once you do that, the key will be loaded over here and you need to do save private key to convert your PM to PPK file. You'll get a warning that are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it? So you should actually do no and set a passphrase, but to save time right now, I'm just going to go with a yes. I'm not going to use a passphrase. Name your PPK file and save it. Once you save it, if you go to the key file, you'll be able to see angular deploy.ppk file. We are going to use this key file to be able to connect to the server. So close your PuTTY Key Generator. The work has been done, and open the PuTTY. Now over here in PuTTY, you need to set two things. First is the host name, which is the IP address. So go to your instances, EC2 instances, and choose the IP address of the running instance. So if you scroll horizontally, you will be able to see a public IPv4 address and choose this IP address. So paste it over here, and next thing to do is set the path for the private key or PPK file. So inside over here, you'll be able to see SSH, and inside SSH you can see auth. Over here you can choose the private key file path. So click on browse and choose the PPK file. That's it. Once you have set the IP address and the path for the private key file, click on open. You will get this warning. The server's host key is not cached in your registry. You get this warning whenever you try to first connect to your server. If you get this alert after you have connected to the first time, let's say in the future you get this warning, then that means your server has been compromised. So you should not connect to your server. But for the first time, this warning is okay and you can just click on yes. Once you do that, you will be able to see a terminal open up. In that, it is asking login as, which is the username. By default, Amazon server has the username Ubuntu. So just log in as Ubuntu. It will authenticate you with the key file pair and you have logged in. So we are now connected to our Amazon server using PuTTY. One more thing, we need to transfer files from our local computer to the remote computer. To do that, we need to use WinSCP. You can download WinSCP via the internet, and once you do that, you can go to the search and choose WinSCP. Once you do that, this window will open up and it will ask for the login details. Inside hostname, put your IP address. Username will be Ubuntu. Click on advanced. This will open a pop-up box. Click on the authentication and choose your private key file path. And click on OK. So once you log in, you will again get a warning because you are connecting to the server the first time. Choose yes. And you can see that you have connected to the server. If you want to transfer some files from your local computer to the server, you can drag and drop it over here. So now we have our WinSCP open and connected, and also we have connected to PuTTY. Now we want to start creating an Angular project, a default Angular project, and also create a basic Flask server code. I have already created the Angular project by using ng start a new project name. So I have created this AWS deploy API project, which has the default code. Let's open it up in VS Code. Over here, you can see that in app component.ts, I have added a constructor which imports the HTTP client, and inside this HTTP client, I have created a basic GET request which goes to the environment.server URL plus hello world, subscribes to the API, and logs the result on the console. To import the HTTP client, you first need to go to appmodule.ts, and inside imports, you need to put HTTP client module. After that, over here you can see I have an environment.server URL. If you go to environment.ts file, I have put a server URL key which has this value for the local environment, and for environment.prod.ts, the server URL is http IP address /API. Why I have put API over here, you'll understand that once we have a look at Nginx server configuration. But the main motivation to put a /API for all our API calls is for the Nginx server to distinguish between whether to redirect the code to the UI server or to use this URL for sending the request to the server. to the Flask server. Whenever a URL starts with just 13.233.103.45, it will go directly to the Angular index.html file and your Angular UI will be served. But whenever there is a slash API, that URL will be redirected to the Flask server. Okay, so once we have created our Angular code, let's build it. I have already built it because it takes a lot of time to build. And once you build it, you will be able to see a dist folder inside which there will be another folder with the name of your project. And inside that, there will be some index.html and other JS files. So we have created this dist folder. And what we want to do now is transfer this dist folder, this AWS deploy API folder, to our server. So we'll use WinSCP. We'll copy this code and we'll paste it over here. Click on OK. And you can see on our remote server, we have now a folder named AWS deploy API. So, okay, we have put our code of the UI over there. Now what we need to do is we also need to put our Flask server's code. So let's first create the code of our Flask server. So I've created an app.py file which has a basic code named from Flask import Flask and JSONify. The app root is set to /API/hello world. This is because all the APIs, all the URLs which come to the server, Flask server, will start with a /API. And after that, I have provided this root a specific name. This root /API/hello world will return a JSON which has key message and value hello world. So that is what this app.py does. So you can see over here we have /API/hello world, and this is the same thing which we should put over here. But you can see I have not put an underscore over here. So I'll put it over here now, and we'll need to rebuild the Angular code. So let it rebuild. Till then, we are going to see how to first copy this Flask code to the server, which is simple. We just copy it, go to WinSCP and paste it over here. So now we have put our Flask code. Also, to run this Flask, we need to install Python on the server. To do that, instead of installing Python, we'll install Anaconda. So I go on the Anaconda website, I choose the download button. Over here in Linux section, you can see a 64-bit installer. Right click on it and copy the link. Go to your PuTTY and type wget and the link. You can paste the link by right clicking or clicking shift insert. You can type shift insert or right click. So now our Anaconda sh file has been downloaded. To install it, click bash and the file name. Click yes for the license. Choose the default path and let the Anaconda install. This is going to take a bit of time, so let's wait for this Anaconda to get installed. Our Angular is also being built. So till Angular is built and our Anaconda is installed, we can have a look at our Nginx server code. So this is the default Nginx server code. Let's understand this line by line. Our Nginx server code will listen on port 80, which corresponds to the HTTP port. So it will listen on port 80 And over here we need to put the server name, which is our IP address. So we'll go on the AWS EC2 dashboard, copy the IP address and put it over here. Next, we need to set the root path to the dist folder. Now, if you have a look at uh, WinSCP, you can see the path is /home/ubuntu/aws deploy API. So we are going to copy this path and we are going to put it over here as the root. Next, the location remains the same, and over here you can see that there is a location/API which will get redirected to localhost, which is 127.0.0.1 5000. So we are going to run our Flask server on the 5000 port, and all the URL which start with /API will get redirected to Flask, and all the URL which just start with slash will get redirected to our index.html file, which is kept in our root directory. So that is how our Nginx server code has been written. So our Angular code has been built again. So let's copy the code. So we go to dist, copy this code, go to WinSCP, paste the code. If you get rewrite, then choose yes. Yeah, so I have rewritten the code. Also, let's see the progress of our Anaconda installation. So the Anaconda has been installed and it is asking me, do you wish the installer to initialize Anaconda 3 by running conda init? The default is no, but please choose yes. So type yes and click on enter. That will initialize Anaconda every time we open the terminal for us. Now you can either close the terminal and start a new terminal, or you can restart your terminal by typing this command. So if you source bash rc, it will initialize Anaconda, and you can see the base suffix which says that Anaconda environment is active. Now do pip install Flask. So this will install Flask, which is actually already present inside Anaconda. So we do not actually need to do pip install Flask. Next, we need to install our Nginx server. So do sudo apt-get update, and after updating, you need to do sudo apt-get install Nginx. So our Nginx has now installed. Now let's set the server configuration. To do that, we first change the directory. We go to cd/etc/nginx. Over here, if we do ls, you can see that there are a lot of files. We should be concerned with just the directories conf.d, sites enabled, and sites available. So first, let's go inside sites enabled, cd ls. So you can see we have a default file. To write our own file, we first need to remove these default files. To remove them, do sudo rm default. Also, remove the default file inside sites available. Sudo rm sites available /default. So now that we have removed the default files inside sites available and sites enabled, we can create our own file inside conf.d. So change the directory to conf.d and create a new file. So to create a new file, do sudo touch server.conf. This will create a new empty file named server.conf. To edit this file, do sudo nano server.conf. We are going to use nano as our editor to edit the server.conf. but you can use Vim if you are comfortable with it. So now over here, we are going to copy and paste our server code. So first of all, in this server code, there are some errors. So we need to remove them. Just a second. Yeah, copy this code. You can just right click to paste inside putty, or you can do Control Shift V as well. Once you paste it, just click Control X and then Y and press enter. So your server.conf has been saved. To check whether the configuration is correct, do sudo nginx -t. So you can see that the configuration file syntax is okay and the test is successful. So our configuration is set correctly. Now let's restart our nginx. So if we do that, let's go to a browser and type our URL over. So the URL is just going to be our IP address. So if we type the IP address, we should be able to see the home page of Angular. So this is the default page of Angular. And as we have set the Nginx configuration correctly and we have copied our dist files over here, that is why we are able to see the Angular welcome page. So let's understand exactly what is happening. When we are typing this URL, by default, it means it will go to port 80. So the browser sends a GET request on port 80 of this IP address. After traversing a lot of routers, it will reach our Nginx code. Inside Nginx code, we can see it's listening to port 80 and it gets the location slash, which stands for nothing. So where it gets the location nothing, it tries files and finally it goes to index.html. This index.html is kept inside the root folder. As we have already built the root folder and copied it from using WinSCP from our local to the server, it will find out an index.html file and then return that index.html file. So this is the index.html file that we see on the browser. Now we also need, so if we go on the console, then you can see that we got a 502 bad gateway for /API/hello world. This is because we have not yet run our Flask server. To do so, first we need to go sudo cd tilde. If we do ls, you can see the app.py file. We want to run this in Flask. To start your server, first create a screen. So type screen -s and name it anything. Let's say Flask server. We are creating a screen so that we can keep on running the server even when we are not connected to this server using putty. So even if we disconnect from the remote server, our Flask server will keep on running. So create the screen, type set flask app equal to app.py and then do flask run. So now our Flask server is running on the 5000 port. If we refresh this server, then you can see on the console we got the message hello world. So this means that our Angular code was able to send the request to the Flask server. You can see that over here as well. We got a GET request /API/hello world and the status code was 200, which is okay. To close the screen, just click on Ctrl A and then D. You can find the tutorial on screen in the tutorial section on Authorize website. So now our server is running. You can also, just a second, you can also directly access the GET request of the server by doing slash API slash hello underscore world. If you do that, the server will get the request. So this URL will first go to port 80 of our Nginx configuration file. So it will go to port 80. Then in port 80, it will find out the location. So it will see that this location starts with slash API. So it will go to this location. Then it will proxy the current URL, current request to this port. So it will go to 127.0.0.1.5000 where our Flask server is running. So inside the Flask server, we'll get the GET request slash API slash hello world. We have written the code to return a JSON message hello world, which will be returned from our route. It will go again back to our Nginx configuration, and from this Nginx, it will return the request back to the browser, which will show the response. So this is how the entire components are connected on the web, and this is how you deploy your Angular or Ionic project on an AWS EC2 instance.